Let us be under no illusion. Northern Ireland is facing extremely challenging fiscal and economic times. The main driver in our economic growth in recent decades has been year-on-year increases in public spending, funded mainly by the Treasury. We now face the double hit of this spending being considerably reduced in the middle of an ongoing slump in our private sector. The Executive is set this year to face a reduction of something like $1.4 billion. However, when we calculate in real inflation, the not generous Treasury estimations, the figure will be much more. The gap between the downward trajectory in spending and what had generally been anticipated is substantial. This will have an impact on jobs, public services and our economic future. Families and individuals are concerned in this. They are worried about jobs, health and education. It is our job to create new options for the Executive and the private sector. We have an economy that is surviving on public sector investment and a low-cost private sector. The public sector will inevitably reduce, whilst the concept of a low-cost private sector is becoming less tenable. As world markets shift ever eastwards, and the ability to make grant payments to attract companies here will imminently diminish due to changes in EU rules, we need to do something different. At present, the private sector lacks the critical mass to compensate for the reductions to our block grant. This is why the debate on devolving the power to reduce corporation tax is so crucial. I will admit that I have reservations concerning the cost to the Executive and the potential for displacement. However, to do nothing is not an option. The possibility of targeting a corporation tax reduction must be explored. The banks and utilities currently create the greatest corporation tax revenue in Northern Ireland. The possibility of excluding these large and stable companies from any reduction and focusing on small and medium-sized enterprises and individual investment must be investigated. Rewarding job creation and innovation should be the guiding principles of any reduction. A reduction in corporation tax has the potential to attract business to Northern Ireland, to stimulate investment and create spin-off businesses for local companies and service industries. In effect, it can provide the dynamism that is currently lacking from our private sector. However, the dynamism is not lacking because of lack of effort or talent. We have some fantastic businesses in Northern Ireland, a wonderful education system, despite Ms. Ruan, and some world-class infrastructure. Under the current model for developing our private sector, we will not fully maximise our potential. Ideally, it is not the role of government to micromanage the economy, pick winners or prop up businesses. It should be the role of government to create the incentives and atmosphere for others to thrive. The recent bailout of the Republic and the bilateral loan from Her Majesty's government was the right decision. Their predicament illustrates the benefits of being part of the Union and one of the largest economies in the world. By allowing the Republic to keep their low rate of corporation tax was also the right decision, as it will allow them, hopefully, to trade out of this crisis. The decision now makes it even greater imperative for the coalition government to concede the principle of giving Northern Ireland Assembly the power to vary income tax. In Northern Ireland, we have a history of innovation and of maximising possibilities. Building the largest and best ships in the world was a risk, but it made us world leaders. We need to facilitate our local companies to become world leaders once again. Being part of the United Kingdom has protected us from the worst ravages of this economic recession, and it will continue to do so. I want us to start giving back again to this great nation. I want us to give more employment to local people in better paid jobs. And I want us to maximise our potential. The ability to vary corporation tax may be the thing that allows us to do all these things. But would cutting corporation tax alone rejuvenate an economy that has not closed the prosperity gap with the rest of the UK, despite over 50 years of various economic policies. Devolving corporation tax varying powers will require compliance with the Azores ruling. But as the European Court of Justice has decided, that compliance with the Azores confers total flexibility to set and vary all regional tax policy. Why should the Executive agree with the Treasury to voluntarily restrict itself to solely cutting corporation tax when full tax varying powers available under Azores could match or better the Republic's R&D and intellectual property incentives that have attracted leading international pharmaceutical and healthcare companies to the south? The programme for government offers a unique opportunity for the Executive to negotiate for the devolution of total tax-raising powers and tax-varying powers. Why should we settle for corporation tax alone if full fiscal flexibility could be gained and profitably employed to rebalance the regional economy? I have pleasure in seconding the motion. Thank you.